Siberia are Russia's far east. Commonly referred to as the land of the sleeping giant, it covers almost 10% of the entire world's surface. Intrigued by this land, my father Leigh came here many years ago for an ultra-marathoning event, searching for adventure. He was captivated by Russia's deep culture, in particular the tragic yet heroic legacy of the Gulag prison camps in the 30s, 40s and 50s. Somehow the Gulags constructed a 2,000-kilometre road through his harsh, icy wilderness, but this story remains mostly untold. This is the story of 5 Aussie comrades helping fulfil Leigh's dream by riding mountain bikes along the Road of Bones.
And it is gonna be a significant challenge for everyone who dares to
Oh, bit of action outside.
Yeah, that's the first group going across the Road of Bones. They're being evacuated. We arranged to meet up with a local Yakutsk bike club, who graciously showed us around town. An experience we'll all never forget. It was a chopper-style homemade bike, as well as a special non-alcoholic Yakutsk soft drink.
Oh yeah, that's good.
With a beautiful sunrise at Yakutsk, it was time for us to drive to our starting point at Kandigar. It was onto the ferry and across the enormous Lena River. With our machina fully packed, it was over to our trusty Russian guide Anton, who entertained us with his Russian music.
What do you think about riding bikes on the road? Cycling?
I'm drunk.
We emptied one bottle of vodka, and a couple of the boys are suffering.
It was someone's bright idea to actually crack open the bottle of vodka, the only bottle of vodka that we had. And
Well folks, here we are. Finally, after so much planning and preparation and excitement, we've arrived here on the Kolyma highway.
And I'd just like you to follow our trip the whole way. Watch our video.
yeah, it's about bloody time that we got on the road.
This 2,000-kilometre Kolyma highway recently received federal funding, and so it starts off in very good condition, but we are assured it will deteriorate through the mountains. Today we are riding towards a Road of Bones museum, which will hopefully explain the untold story of the Gulag. Gulag translates to mean main camp or prison. Millions of prisoners forcibly made to build this road for inland treasures and gold under the reign of Joseph Stalin. As they died, they were simply buried under the road, as it was too hard to dig through surrounding permafrost. It became the largest cemetery in the world. A very sobering thought.
Bit of a sore behind already, so it's a little bit disconcerting. But I think it'll just be a matter of wearing the old coat in for a few days, and then we should be right for the rest of the trip.
Back in the saddle, we're all enjoying getting back to the simple things in life, getting to know each other better, and reflect upon the journey ahead.
This is a Russian having his first taste of our national food we brought over here especially for him.
Testing. Not bad.
We have quite a range of personalities, which is making the trip quite exciting.
I certainly don't feel prepared in the least for riding 2,000 kilometres.
And why are you doing the trip?
Mainly because Leigh mentioned it and it sounded like fun.
I've read about this and always wanted to do it, so here we are.
Having an adventure with the fellas.
So many people, myself included, respect and are very curious to the Russian culture.
You will definitely meet beers.
Yes.
We will. I hope you escape.
Yeah, pretty nervous.
So tired. Any more sleep?
Медведь? Да. Медведей тут много. Много. Надо аккуратнее.
Big problem?
Да.
This morning Leigh said to the group that he'd noticed a bit of a crack in the rear part of his frame on his bike, and luckily enough we're sort of in a construction area at the moment, and we asked them if they had a welder and they said yes.
After Leigh's bike was fixed, it was a quick dash to lunch where we tasted some local Russian delights.
Tell us the story. What's that you're eating?
Well, like you probably see the picture on the front there. Cow in a can. It was head down and bum up as we grinded out 100 kilometres for the day.
With a bit of fatigue and tiredness. It has been the best part of, 270, 280 kilometres thus far.
We were rewarded with some stunning landscapes and quite astonished that there still is some icebergs in summer.
Day three almost did me in.
We're just making some modifications to Jason's bike.
After we traversed through the icebergs and across some streams, the Siberia rain clouds well and truly set in.
Long straight roads, rain, yeah, messes with your head.
Russians don't always tend to build better roads, they just build bigger trucks.
After another arduous mountain pass, we bumped into some locals. It's these little interactions that we really enjoy the most.
Good.
In the evening, as comrades, we sit around and laugh about the day, and wave at any passing locals. And simply bask in what is one of the most extensive natural forests left in the world.
I feel that there's no guarantees as to whether I'm going to make it to the end of the day or not, so every day is a new challenge.
Well, this is the Siberia I think we've all come to know and hear about. Pretty cold, wet and windy as Jace rides out of the fog. We've just climbed a 1,200 metre pass up the Alchin Mountains, and still Jace is laughing.
I was just 80 metres up the road.
So we're about halfway down the big descent into Usnera, about 40 kilometres out, and yeah, it's a little bit muddy. Can't see anything riding down.
Caked in mud, the local Russians at the hot water station offered us a rare hot shower, and over the next 2 hours we had a cultural exchange we will never forget.
That was an experience, yeah, one of those once in a lifetime experiences, getting a bit of an insight into the lives of the people here. And
that experience of a hot water plant amongst frozen wilderness is like a metaphor to how we found many Russians. After so much repression and suffering, many appear to have a cold and hard exterior. But deep down inside, they seem the opposite. Once you get to know them, each person is to each other a friend, a brother, a comrade. There is such a spirit of collectivism that they have developed in their life, especially through the hard recent times, like the deserted village we next visit called Kamchatka.
It was deserted in the 90s when everything closed down, all the central funding closed. So mines closed in the region. This would have been a town of thousands of people.
With a ghost town behind us, one of many, and Dad's new homemade mudguards fitted, we soldiered on. While Dad was having his own disaster, there was also another natural disaster.
Along and throughout Siberia, with floods and landslides and so forth, the old road is declared closed, with road closures and even town evacuations. So we're forced to tread along the new road, but the way that it's looking, with the mud and a few bridges out, a few blockages, it'll be just as much as an adventure. Just woken up Dad because the Kolyma River has risen, probably a couple of metres to within about a metre and a half, 2 metres of Dad's tent. He's already moved it for the second time, this time about 10 metres upstream from the water, uphill, and the water's made it back up to his tent yet again.
One of the constant problems that we run into on this trip is bum pain. Bum itches, bum soreness, bum pimples, crotch itch, crotch soreness, crotch pimples, you name it.
Not to mention the mosquitoes.
Encephalitis is rife, but even the Russians, when the mosquitoes are going, wear 2 sets of clothes.
Well, we knew it was cold yesterday, being about 1 degrees late in the afternoon as we rode along after leaving Susaman. Fully rugged up with beanies and gloves on. We knew it was pretty brisk, but we did expect this the next morning, to wake up to a white wonderland.
-4, can you see that?
-4?
Well, it gets down to -72 in a place called Kolyma, right in the middle of that area, and it holds the record for the coldest place on Earth, ex the poles.
It's during these cold times or quiet times, you can't help but reflect upon the harsh life the gulags had. From -60 degrees to +40, the prisoners worked 15-hour days. The camps were abysmal, with virtually no sanitary facilities, with torture and abuse running rife. The Gulag is Russia's forgotten Holocaust, the largest network of concentration camps ever created. The remoteness of camp and the bears destroyed all hope of escape, and those that did soon perished, albeit after resorting to cannibalism. You could get 10 years of this life just for stealing bread. There's an old Russian proverb that says, "He who has not been there will get his turn. He who has been there will never forget."
Shit, it is too. Just come down off a pass. Car passed us beeping its horn. For what reason? But a bear running off in the distance. Just left hand side of the road, running up the embankment. Just stay here, Hugh. They've been feeding the bears by the roadside in this neck of the woods. And from what Anton told us, so quite a few bears hang near the road for that reason. The car in front of us spooked it, ran across the road and up to the spur to the left. So we waited a while as a group, we all caught up. And now as a group riding through the same area where it was last spotted, obviously safety in numbers, we just got a view of its paw print in the mud. We try and ride as a pack quite often for camaraderie, but especially now because we have warnings of a bear and cubs ahead. Aziz in Siberia, imagine the hysteria, pain in the posterior. Aziz in Siberia.
People die in road accidents.
Accidents, okay. Yeah, yeah.
It's not a grave, it's just
memorial.
Memorial,
yeah. Okay, I understand.
No more vodka while we're riding. Hey boys! Hey,
Oh, and again? And how long should that be good for?
Hopefully 50 k's. We celebrated Dad's birthday, as well as our last night camping in the wilderness. The firecrackers we slept with for bear protection were now an excuse for a party. The next day we hit the tarmac as we rode into a town called Sokol for some more Russian traditions. After a few celebrational vodkas that night, I was back in the saddle for our last day on the bike.
So after 2,000 kilometres, we've got only 20 odd k's to go, and by far this is going to be the most dangerous 20 odd kilometres on the road. We've got trucks and buses and high-speed cars and everything just going past us a couple of metres away. As we go, there you go, there's one there.
Yeah, and so where will you go next, Leigh?
I don't know.
After Leigh's many commitments, it was a final push to Magadan.
You caught me out right, look, 1,600 kilometre on one chain, on the road of bones. That's as long as the chain lasts around here. Chain is kaput, so I'm free healing.
We're literally rolling into Magadan.
We are here in Magadan, and this monument tells the story and the reasons the road was made, the road of bones, of the people who suffered, a million or so people, to build the road to the inland treasures.
We did it. We reached Magadan and the Sea of Okhotsk, albeit a bit bruised and battered, but very content. It was goodbye to our new comrade Anton for his guidance and friendship. He himself has had a difficult life, and so we hope his future reflects the promise of a revitalised and optimistic Russia, as captured in this Gulag poem. For many Russians, the ghost of the Gulag is still wandering inside, and there is a call to start the cleansing process. We learnt that, sure, there are tragedies, but amongst those tragedies, there are also miracles. The Russian stories, culture, and their miracles have inspired us. Each person is to each other a friend, a brother, a comrade.
Hey, one day we drive, and then you ride, baby. Done?
We can try.
That's cheating. You can't do that.
I could have done better, that all worked out, but I've had a few drinks.
Anna, would you mind asking her what's in this dump, what's in the risotto?
Котлеты у вас еще?
С мяса.
Какого?
Мясо кушайте. Вкусное, нормально кушайте.
Cow in a can.
So what does it end up?
No, she don't want to tell you.
Doesn't want to tell you.
Secret family ingredient.
Мясо.
Stop, you goddamn thing.